Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into a topic that I think we all struggle with from time to time?
Definitely. It's something we can all relate to on some level.
Exactly. We're going deep on overcoming laziness and really amping up our productivity. No fluff, just straight to the point strategies you can use right away.
Love that approach.
We're going to be pulling insights from the Art of Laziness library mindset. It's an interesting read, blends this whole mindset shift thing with actual techniques you can put into practice.
Yeah, and it's great because it doesn't just tell you to be more productive. It actually gives you the tools to figure out what's holding you back and then, like, how to move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in. The first big takeaway is this idea of taking full responsibility.
Oh, yeah. That's a big one.
No more blaming the universe for our procrastination, right?
Right. The book tells this story about a farmer who's complaining about his wheat not being harvested. Blames his sons, blames the workers.
Blames everyone but himself.
Exactly. It's not until he takes a step back and owns up to his own role in the situation that things start to change for him.
It's so easy to fall into that trap. We think,
Right.
oh, if only I had more time, or if only my boss wasn't so demanding. But the reality is, a lot of times, we're giving away our power without even realizing it.
For sure. So think about your own life for a second. Are there places where you might be doing that? What situations or maybe habits are controlling your productivity instead of you actively managing them?
That's a powerful question to consider. It leads perfectly into this idea of breaking free from those comfort zones.
Yeah, and the book puts it so well. A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there.
Love that quote. But stepping outside that zone doesn't have to mean some huge, drastic change.
Right. It can be tiny, like baby steps, little wins that build momentum over time.
So think about it. What's one small, achievable step you could take today to push yourself just a little bit?
I like that. Keep it super simple.
Like maybe you decide to take a 15-minute walk during your lunch break. Or you finally tackle that one thing on your to-do list you've been putting off for weeks.
Those are great examples. And the idea is that those seemingly small actions, when you do them consistently, they lead to bigger shifts.
It's like a ripple effect, right?
Hmm.
Action creates confidence, which leads to more action, and so on.
Totally. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. Have you ever heard of ikigai?
Oh, yes. I love this concept. It's this Japanese philosophy all about finding your purpose, your reason for getting out of bed in the morning.
It's about doing what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for.
All those things coming together. It's
Yep.
pretty amazing when you find that intersection. So here's a question for everyone listening. What really lights you up? Where do your talents and passions align? And how can you bring those together with a real sense of purpose?
Those are deep questions, but they're so important. If you want to move beyond just going through the motions, that's where it starts.
Absolutely. All right, let's get into some practical techniques now. One that stands out is Parkinson's Law.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of that one. Isn't it something about work expanding to fill the time you have?
Exactly. So if you give yourself a month to do something, it'll probably take a month. But if you crunch that down to a week, you'll find a way to get it done.
Makes you wonder why we ever give ourselves so much time in the first place.
Seriously, think about how you manage your time. Are you setting realistic deadlines, ones that actually challenge you? Or are you giving tasks too much space to just, like, sprawl out?
It's easy to fall into that trap, that's for sure.
Another tip that I found super helpful is the 5-minute rule. If it takes less than 5 minutes, just do it now.
Oh, that's a good one. I need to do that more often.
It prevents those little tasks from piling up and creating that sense of overwhelm.
It's like clearing clutter before it clutters your mind.
Love that analogy. And speaking of clearing clutter, let's talk about delegating. It can be a game changer, especially for those tasks that maybe aren't in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that we can't do everything perfectly right. Better to focus on your strengths and delegate the rest.
And that frees up your time and energy for the things you actually enjoy and excel at. Which brings us to another crucial skill, saying no.
Ooh, that's a tough one for a lot of people.
It's not about being rude. It's about setting healthy boundaries so you can protect your time and energy.
It's about figuring out what really aligns with your goals and politely declining those things that just drain you. So think about this. Are there any requests or obligations you feel pressured to accept, even though they don't serve you?
How could you politely decline those to make more space for what truly matters?
That's a challenge for sure, especially in a culture that often glorifies being busy all the time.
No kidding. Okay, so the art of laziness also dives into some really interesting Japanese concepts that can help us rethink productivity.
One that really stood out to me is Kaizen, which is all about small, continuous improvements.
Instead of trying to overhaul your entire life overnight, it's about making tiny tweaks over time.
Right, and those little changes add up to big results eventually. It's like instead of aiming for perfection, which can be so overwhelming, just focus on getting a little bit better each day.
I love that. It's about progress, not perfection, right?
Hmm.
And that actually ties in really well with another idea from the book, the concept that done is better than perfect.
Yes. Perfectionism can be such a productivity killer. You get stuck in this cycle of overthinking and procrastinating, and nothing ever gets finished.
It's so true. Sometimes it's better to put something out there that's maybe 80% there than to keep tweaking it forever and never actually release it.
Totally. It's about finding that balance between striving for excellence and letting go of the need for absolute perfection.
I want to circle back to something we talked about earlier, this idea of aligning your actions with your values and purpose.
Yeah, the book makes a great point about that. True productivity isn't just about checking things off a to-do list. It's about spending your time and energy on things that actually matter to you.
It's about taking a step back and asking yourself, why am I doing this? And making sure your efforts are in line with your goals and aspirations.
If you're constantly feeling drained or uninspired, it could be a sign that you're not fully engaged in what you're doing. Or maybe you're spreading yourself too thin.
Right. It's important to periodically reevaluate your commitments and make adjustments as needed. It's okay to say no to things, even if it means disappointing someone.
And it's equally important to say yes to things that light you up, even if they push you outside your comfort zone a little bit.
This has been such a great conversation.
Yeah.
I'm curious, what's really resonated with you so far? What feels particularly relevant or inspiring?
Well, I think the biggest thing for me is just this reminder that it's a journey, not a destination. As you continue on this path of like conquering laziness and becoming more productive, keep in mind that it's not about becoming some kind of like superhuman productivity machine.
It's about finding a sustainable pace.
Yeah, one that allows you to achieve your goals while also taking care of yourself.
It's about finding joy in the process, embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, and celebrating those small victories along the way.
And I think, maybe most importantly, it's about recognizing that it's an ongoing process. There's no finish line.
There's no magic formula. It's about experimenting, adjusting, and figuring out what really works for you.
That's what makes this whole exploration so valuable. It gives you all these different tools and perspectives to play with.
So here's the challenge we're leaving you with. Have you ever heard of the concept of hara hachibu?
Hmm, I don't think so. What's that?
It's a Japanese practice that encourages you to eat until you're about 80% full. The idea is to avoid overeating, which can leave you feeling sluggish and drained.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
How often do we overstuff our schedules, taking on way more than we can realistically handle?
We end up feeling mentally and emotionally full, just like after a huge Thanksgiving dinner.
Exactly. So the challenge is this. Apply that hara hachibu principle to your to-do list.
I like it. So before you say yes to any new task or project, ask yourself, am I already at 80%?
Do I have the space to take this on without sacrificing my well-being or the quality of my other commitments?
It's a great way to prevent burnout and make sure you're investing your energy wisely.
That wraps up our deep dive into overcoming laziness and unlocking productivity. We hope you've gained some valuable insights to help you on your journey.
Remember, it's not about becoming a productivity robot,
It's about finding a rhythm that works for you.
one that empowers you to reach your goals while actually enjoying the ride.
And to help solidify everything we've talked about, we want to leave you with a quick 10-point summary of the key takeaways. Ready?
Hit me with it.
Okay. Number one, take radical responsibility for yourself. No more blaming external factors. Own your choices. Own your actions.
Number 2, step outside that comfort zone. Remember, growth happens when you push those boundaries, even if it's just a little bit.
Number 3, discover your ikigai, your reason for being. Find that sweet spot where your passion, your talents, and your purpose all come together.
Number 4, use Parkinson's law to your advantage. Set tight deadlines, but make sure they're realistic to help you focus and work more efficiently.
Number 5, the 5-minute rule. If it takes less than 5 minutes, do it now. Don't let those little tasks pile up.
Number 6, delegate. Delegate. Free up your time and energy by letting others handle those tasks that aren't your core strengths.
Number 7, master the art of saying no. It's okay to set boundaries and prioritize what truly matters to you.
Number 8, embrace Kaizen, the idea of continuous improvement. Focus on those small, consistent steps rather than shooting for unattainable perfection.
Number 9, remember, done is better than perfect. Don't let perfectionism hold you back.
And finally, number 10, practice mindful productivity. Use that Harahachibu principle to make sure you're not overloading your schedule and sacrificing your well-being.
That's it for our deep dive into overcoming laziness and boosting productivity. We hope you found some valuable insights to help you on your journey.
Remember, it's not about being a productivity robot.
It's about finding what works for you.
It's about reaching your goals and actually enjoying the process along the way.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing those limits.
You got this.